All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I just want to let everyone know before we start that the meeting is being recorded. So in case you miss anything, you can always watch it back. This video recording will be posted in the chat, inshallah. That being said, I'd like to first introduce myself. My name is Rahima Javed, and I am the facilitator for the groups here at Ain al-Haramain, based on everything that we've talked about so far before everyone was able to come in. I just want to let you guys know that today we will be going over some important information regarding our coming trip on the 18th of February. And officially, I'd like to welcome you to our February 18th to 27th group on behalf of myself and everyone here at Ain al-Haramain. So before we get started, I'd like to call up our director, Brother Harun, to just say a few words, as he'll be on the trip with us.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone is doing well. Inshallah, I will be managing this upcoming project for February, and I will also be one of the group leaders. So, inshallah, we'll see you at the airport alongside with Sister Rahima and Maulana Tajuddin. We will all be working together to assist you during this upcoming trip, inshallah.
Great. And so as Brother Harun mentioned, we have multiple of our staff and our group leaders working on this trip, who you will see both on this side from JFK onwards and also in Saudi Arabia. So now I will be sharing on the screen an agenda, which is also posted in the group chat, which basically will let you know what our schedule looks like throughout the trip, both day by day and as a whole. So firstly, of course, we will be traveling from JFK Terminal 1, Saudi Airlines, and on the 18th of February, which is a Saturday. We recommend that everyone gets there early. We like to say around 10:30-ish, so that you can get check-in done in a timely fashion. And another very important point about the airport, like Brother Harun mentioned, he'll be there, Brother Tajuddin and I will also be there, is that we will be meeting up and either before or after you check in, but definitely before you pass security, to give you two really important items. The first one is the Ain al-Haramain bag, which is a bag for keeping your things, and a document pouch, but also it's a means of us kind of keeping the group together and identifying our group. And the second thing is for the brothers, since we will be going to Mecca first, the ihram that you need to wear to perform the Umrah. So it's really, really important that you guys get that before even passing security. So we make sure that you get on the flight with those really important things. Inshallah, after the flight, we will be landing in Jeddah, and from Jeddah, we would travel on to Makkah, where we will be performing the Umrah the same day. Inshallah, we will have another seminar kind of to go over the religious aspects of Umrah, how it's performed, and everything to do with that. Today, we're really discussing the logistical points of what our trip will look like and how we'll be proceeding through the days. After the first day of travel in Umrah, we're going to give you guys a couple of days to catch up. It can be very physically taxing. I think we have some feedback. Yeah, right. It's because it can be physically taxing. So the 20th and the 21st, inshallah, are kind of what we like to call free days, but there are rest days and days for you to kind of take it at your own pace and, get into your ibadat and everything. On the 22nd, we will be having our Makkah historical tour, which is a group activity. It's optional, of course. If you have something else planned that day, that's absolutely fine. But if you'd like to join us, inshallah, we post in the group chat the timing and everything, and we all meet up and we go around Mecca and point out the historical and religiously significant sites. The next day, we will be leaving Mecca for Medina. And on this day, again, that WhatsApp group so important because that's where we'll be posting the instructions for that. Once we get to Medina, the next day will be Jumu'ah. So we have that day for you guys to pray Jumu'ah and to rest up and whatever else you need. And then we've left the 25th a little bit more open. So that way, if you have to, go to the Roda, do any last minute shopping, anything like that, you have a free day. And then lastly, we have the 26th, on which we'll be both conducting our historical tour of Medina and also in the nighttime leaving Medina for Jeddah. And from Jeddah, we will take our final trip back to New York, to JFK. So that kind of covers what we'll be doing throughout. Other to that, it's super important to keep in mind that once we are in Saudi, there are a couple restrictions or regulations rather post-COVID that we need to abide by in order to perform all of the religious duties that we have in mind. And the number one thing is it's called Nusuk, and this is an app which was basically brought in after COVID, which basically allows everyone to make an appointment for when they would like to perform Umrah and an appointment for when they would like to go to visit the Roda. So both things you cannot do without a permit. That being said, there's a little bit more flexibility with the Umrah compared to the Roda. You know, even if you're a little early or a little late, they're lenient with it. And sometimes, you know, they're not even checking. That being said, we're having the seminar well in advance so that everyone has plenty of time to get the Nusuk app ready and running. If you've had a chance to check the chat in about the last hour, I've posted some detailed instructions of both how to set up the app, right, including the links of where you can download this app from. So whether it's iPhone, Android, whatever, it's all in that presentation, as well as a video tutorial of how to get set up. In order to get set up, you will need a unique phone number and a unique email for each person who's getting set up, which includes if you'd like to take, for example, your children to the Roda, right? You would make an account for them as well, especially if they're older than toddler age. You're not holding them, then definitely you'll need to make an app. Need to make a permit for them as well. And so that would require, like I said, a separate email and a separate phone number. Now, the good thing is they don't really send any sort of code or anything on the phone number. So you could borrow, and I've had people do this before, borrow a phone number from a family member who's not going, or even create like a Google Voice number or something like that for the kids. Other to that, the main thing that you do need access to and you want to make sure is up and running is your email, right? So don't use an email you don't know the password to or don't have access to, or, you know, doesn't open, because the email address is where they're sending a verification code. It's so that gets you into the app. So when you sign in, they'll be asking for some personal information like your name, your date of birth, your nationality, your passport number, and your visa number, as well as a phone number and an email address, right? And so the email, once you've logged in all of that information, that they will send you a 4-digit verification code on your email. Once you type that in, then you're into the app, right? So you really need to make sure that that email is working and up and running. Okay, and so once you're in there, again, I have very detailed instructions of how you can make the permits for both the Roda and Umrah, as well as in the chat, I've left the timings that you'd want to make the permits for. I believe on the 19th for the Umrah, we've said anytime after 4 p.m. is good. Like I said, they are very lenient with it, and if you need, you know, if you come a little early or a little bit later, as long as the permit's still active, they do let you in. And then in Medina, we obviously have all of the day of the 25th and on the 24th every time besides Jumu'ah to get in the Roda permits. But I do want to stress that it is extremely important that we do this at a timely fashion. So a lot of us already have the visas. So you can actually, as soon as we're done with this presentation, inshallah, you can actually go ahead and start downloading the app and start setting up your account. And those of us who don't, there's a few people who are missing some documents from, so please reach out to us. I'm also going to put the office number in the chat so that way you can reach out to us and let us know, and we can figure out whatever missing documents you have and get that to you right away, because it is so important that we make our accounts right away and take out these permits right away. Once the permits run out, there's nothing that can be done. They run out, and you know, we've had it happen before where somebody waited to the last minute and they weren't able to get a permit, unfortunately, right? And we don't want that to happen to everyone. That's why we've done the seminar so far in advance, so that way everyone has a chance to go ahead and make a permit. The second thing I want to really emphasize is that it's so important, especially in Medina, to make your permit on time and to make it for such a time that you know you'll be able to make it. So for example, if there's, you know, if you know that you'll be busy one day going out shopping or something like that, it's best not to keep a permit for that time or that day, because it'll if you miss it, you won't be able to make another one. Basically, it's once every 30 days only. So unfortunately, if you miss it, there's nothing you can do. So really important to make your permit at such a time that you'll be able to go there, as well as making sure that you're early for the appointment, right? And so those are the two things to keep in mind when you are making the permit. Brother Harun, is there something else that you wanted to mention in regards to our apps and that situation?
So it is important that first of all we activate Nuzuk. I already see a couple of questions in the chat regarding Nuzuk. Uh, there are errors. This also happened in early December. I believe they should have a new update, either that just came out or is about to come out. So if you're getting any errors, please uninstall the app and reinstall it. Sometimes those glitches, they the updates come in, or if your app is not updated, just make sure you get it updated. If that still doesn't work, wait till the next day to try again. But it is definitely important to understand, they're still working through a lot of these hiccups that come up. And they usually do come up with any new updates once in a while. The app doesn't take any registration and we get all these errors. So just continue to try. And then if it doesn't work, uninstall, install the app again. And if that doesn't work, wait till the next day, inshallah, or a new update to come out. But in the meantime, just make sure you guys have a phone that has roaming data. Even though Wi-Fi works out too, but sometimes it does happen where you reach the Roda and you're trying to get into the account and you're not able to get into the account. Another important aspect of the technology part is you have to make sure that you have a separate device for each family member, and you have working internet on it, and you have access to the email that you will be using. Uh, and then one more thing, I think I just see another question. If you have not received your visa copies yet, we will be sharing, unless we have already shared the number within our group. Uh, you can go ahead and message on our office number with your family member's name so they can send you out any documents that you are missing. We are done with about 99% of the visas. I think there's only one or two visas that are pending. So all the visas are pretty much done. So Sister Rahima, if you can just post the office contact in the chat. If you're missing any of your visas, just give us a message so we can send out your visa to you. We are going to open up for Q&A. I already see a couple of hands up. If you would like to just unmute yourself. Uh, we we did double check all the dates. There were permits available earlier today, and there are no public Wi-Fi connections in Makkah or Medina. They do show them, but it does not work.
Yeah, so there's really two reliable ways to make sure that you have internet in the masjid. One is obviously, like Brother Harun mentioned, having roaming data, and that's something you can figure out from here right now, is calling your carrier and figuring out whether it's part of your plan or it's an extension you want to add to your plan. And then the other option is, of course, to carry an unlocked phone and to get a local SIM there in Saudi. Their internet works pretty well as well. It's pretty fast. And it does cover, the entirety of Mecca and Medina, whereas the hotel Wi-Fi, you really only getting it within the hotel. So as you walk out, there's a possibility if anything happens, you get logged out or whatever, that you'd have to walk all the way back to the hotel to re-log in. And in the road timings are only for 30-minute section, so you don't want it to be that you miss your road permit because of the fact that you have to walk back and forth from the hotel. And other to that, I did see something about an issue with the app. Sometimes it happens where dates that are open do show as gray. You kind of have to just restart the app, which means like completely force quit it and then restart the app, open it again. It's a common glitch that does come up with the app. So if you're having any issues, definitely the first thing is to force quit the app and then start back up again. And as Brother Harun mentioned, if it's a bigger issue, sometimes it even takes uninstalling it and reinstalling it to get it back up and running.
I see a hand up for Omer Butt. If you would like to unmute yourself and ask a question, inshallah.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. My question, I have more than one question. The first one is that I've heard we should have separate email addresses for each person going. So if it's a family of 4, we should have 4 email addresses. Does that mean we need to have 4 email addresses, 4 phone devices, and 4 phone numbers? Because I've heard someone say that we have to have 4 separate devices as well, one per device for each person.
That is correct. So you will need a unique phone number, unique email. The device, you can use the same device if you're going at separate timings. So you can just log into the other account and they can use it. But you definitely need 4 different emails and 4 different numbers in order to activate each account.
Okay. Secondly, in terms of the timings for the Umrah, I see on the 19th we will land at Jeddah, travel to Mecca, and perform Umrah. Do you have timing for all these three things? Because if we have children and if we have people with disabilities,
Approximately, we will be getting to Makkah. So we land around 9:30 a.m. By the time we clear immigration, by the time we get everyone on the bus, it will be approximately 2.5, 3 hours. We should be reaching Makkah around the 1 o'clock mark, 1 o'clock, 1:30. Our goal is to get you there as efficiently as possible. So we may get there a little bit earlier too. Another thing we want everyone to keep in mind is standard check-in time is at 4. We do have our staff that will be sitting there from early morning, trying to get as much keys ready as possible and get us all checked in. So I would say Makkah timing would be approximately between 1 and 2:30 ish will be the time we will reach Makkah.
1 to 2:30. Okay, and
Approximately.
okay, that's fine. Approximate time is fine. No one is holding you to the time. That's okay. In terms of what time we will be performing the Umrah, do you have a time?
So we are planning to take one group out as soon as we arrive to Makkah. So we do have 3 group leaders available with this particular group, and then one group we will take out a little bit later. So we do look at the condition of the group. If everyone is too tired to perform Umrah, then we will actually give it a little bit more time. They are not as strict with the Umrah permits as they are with the Roda. So we do have a lot more flexibility when it comes to the timing of the Umrah and the Umrah permits. So as long as you have a close enough time for the permit within 6, 7, 8 hours, you are good to go and perform Umrah. And most of the time, they don't even check. I just got back with the January group, and when we went to go do Umrah, no one pulled out their phone. We all were able to just get in, alhamdulillah, and perform our Umrah without showing the permits.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why that just kind of emphasizes like the need for staying up to date on that WhatsApp chat. And I'd like to emphasize again that if anybody has family members who aren't yet added, definitely add them in. Sometimes you'll miss something, but they'll see it, right? Like Brother Harun said, like when we get there, our goal is to start taking people to do their umrah. But if, for example, there is everyone's tired or something like that, any sort of unforeseen circumstance, we can kind of be a little bit flexible with that because of the fact that we have flexibility in our appointments. And that's why we said to have them anytime after 4, because they become valid about 2 hours before. So they'll if you take out at 4 o'clock, it'll start being valid at 2, and then it's valid for another 2 hours after that. So it's like a nice 4-hour slot.
Okay, so just to repeat on the 3 groups part, so we would have approximately 3 groups going for that day on the 19th. So we can join one of those groups, and that would be fine, right?
That is correct. So we are one big group. We're approximately about 95 passengers on this particular flight. But as we get to Makkah, it is possible also 60, 70 people may end up just deciding just to go early. Maybe only 10 people want to just go perform Umrah early. So it is where you want to choose to and go. And we will be covering more on how to perform Umrah, Ihram, and basically how the flight is going to work out. But right now we're more concerned about the permits, and we want to make sure everyone can take out the Roda permits and get their Nuzuk app activated. That is the most important thing right now. Because of that, we are doing a separate seminar before the flight, inshallah, in order to cover all these details regarding what's going to happen later on in the trip. But right now, the biggest urgency that we have is making sure everyone can activate their Nuzuk app and they are good to go with their Roda permits. The Roda Riyazul Jannah permits is the most important activity to take care of right now, because that is something that once it finishes, because there is a lot fewer slots than they have for Umrah. And Umrah, your Umrah permit expires, you can take out a permit. They have permits available within like an 8-hour mark pretty much all the time. So I wouldn't worry too much about the rest of the portion of the trip right now. Right now, we want to make sure everyone can go ahead and activate their Nuzuk apps and take out the Roda permits as advised within the chat, inshallah. And I do see we're getting quite a few questions on where to get the visa number. The visa number is the first line of information that is on your visa. So if you look at your visa copies, the first line you will see would say visa number on it, and then they'll have a number usually starting with a 6. So that's where you can get the visa number. We did share a contact information a couple of minutes ago in the chat. Please message on that with all your family members' names if you're missing your visas, so our team can send out the visas to you. If there's anything else that you need, you can also go ahead and request on that. There may be a few people who need wheelchairs. So please make sure you put in the request over there with the name. If anyone requires a wheelchair, so they can go ahead and give you a wheelchair when you're traveling. If you require a wheelchair for your entire journey, please make sure to carry one from here or purchase one once you get to Makkah. It is possible sometimes they're not available when you get to the hotel. The hotels usually do carry a few wheelchairs, but it does happen when they don't have any wheelchairs available. So the Roda is Riyazul Jannah. It's also known as Riyazul Jannah. It's a very specific part in Masjid Nawawi. We will cover that in the religious portion, what the Roda is. But the Roda permit, once you go inside the app, you will notice it says the Noble Roda. So if you're a female, it will say female praying in the Noble Roda. If you're a male, it will say male praying in the Noble Roda. And from there, you can go ahead, select the time slot, and book your permit. We do have detailed instruction within our group chat. So please follow along with that. If you haven't received your visa, we want to make sure you're reaching out to our team on the number provided so we can go ahead and send your visa.
Brother Harun, I had a question regarding the wheelchair. I understand we can't take one and you can assist in providing. But in terms of getting onto those travel buses, you would have those buses have ways to get on for disabled people to get onto the buses, right? Like access.
No, they are not accessible buses. We do assist them. A lot of the times we'll have myself and a few other brothers will assist. We'll sometimes just have the person sitting on the wheelchairs and we'll just assist them just to get on the bus. We do, the buses over there are not wheelchair accessible or accessible in any way.
So you would just lift and shift
Yes.
on the bus. And I suppose those buses have enough big room doors for a 300-pound person to get on a wheelchair and carry them through inside, right?
I don't think that will be possible.
Okay, then how?
We have done it in the past. I would say 200, 220 we have done before. They get through the door pretty easy. But if it's a wider wheelchair than the regular size, I don't think it will go through the bus door.
But if it's the regular size,
I think we should take this conversation offline, inshallah. We can talk about this. Let's keep it general to the group right now, and we can answer that question, inshallah. You can reach out to the team, and we'll be able to answer that question at that point. If needed, then we can switch over to private transportation as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Do we have any other general questions? Because we want to keep this very specific and making sure that we can get everyone's apps updated, inshallah. And just make sure to reach out to our team if you have not received your visa. We do have a few people that may have not received their visa till now. So just reach out to our team, inshallah, with the number provided so we can send your visas.
I have a question.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Oh, okay. What what time are we leaving to what time do I have to report at JFK, the 18th?
We recommend coming between 10:15 and 10:30, sometime around there. Our team will be available, inshallah, at the airport at 10 a.m. So we do need to give you a bag and a haram. So we want to make sure we can see you at JFK airport.
So you have a maximum of 1 bag or 2 bags?
You are allowed 2 luggages, 23 kg or 50 pounds. And you're also allowed a hand carry as well.
Okay. And the permit on the app, I already downloaded the app, so I can set up the permit right as soon as possible, right?
I would say yes, please set it up as soon as possible. We have also posted recommended times to take out permits. So once you have the app up and running, please use the recommended times to take out your permits.
Yeah, because I take out the permit and I saw, yeah, I make the permit and it gave me a barcode. So that's it, right?
That's it. You are done. That's all you need. The barcode just shows up, and once you get there, you just use that. You pull up the permit and you show when you go inside.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we get ihrams for the kids?
We will give ihrams for the kids, but they are all adult size.
Okay. And when we will
We
be
can fold
provided?
them. This will be at JFK Airport.
Okay, and we can fold them and use them.
Yes, you will need the ihram on flight. I just want to clarify that. We will be changing the ihram before landing in Jeddah Airport.
Okay.
Sorry, brother, I have a question here. Not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, just based on your experience, what is the expected crowd at this time of the year when it's for Umrah? I think it's
The
kind of a difficult
crowds
question.
are like Ramadan since October this year. So I haven't seen the crowds go down. It's been very busy, pretty much
Alright.
almost every single group I've been to. December, January, even November. October, I wasn't expecting too big of a rush, and October was pretty busy as well too. So expect heavy crowds in Saudi, both in
Really?
Mecca
Okay.
and Medina.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Brother Salim, I see your hand up if you want to unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone.
Walaikum
My question is this: my mom used a wheelchair. I mean, not a wheelchair, a walker. Can she allowed to
Mhm.
carry her walker with her?
She will be okay to enter the downstairs portion of Haram, the Mataf area. So if she walker is not a problem, but they are not allowing any wheelchairs in Mataf. So if you want to push a wheelchair and take your mom, you will have to go to the roof.
But also they have the electric one as well. Can we rent them there?
Yes, you can also rent them over there as well.
Is she allowed to use her walker inside?
Yes, of course, you can use her walker, and if she gets tired, then she can definitely. But the portion for the electric wheelchair is a bit far away from the Mataf area. So if she decides to do the whole Umrah on electric wheelchair, it's a little bit easier. Or doing the tawaf on the walker and then going ahead and getting the wheelchair for the sa'i.
Okay, and one more question that I have is you said the permit. Do we download the app now? I have the app, but I didn't set up yet. So you download the app and you put all your information with the visa information and everything now, so this way you can get a permit?
That is correct. The permits are open for our dates, and it is a time-sensitive matter. That's why we are doing the seminar now. We would actually personally like to do the seminar just a week before traveling, but since the permits, they fill up very fast, we want to make sure we can get you all the information well in advance, so you can go ahead and activate your app and get your permits.
Okay, so do we have to pick the time frame?
We gave recommended times. I would say keep it within those times. It is possible if you choose a different time, we may not be arriving there, or we may not reach Medina, for example. So it's very important you follow the guidelines regarding the time.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. I like to, when I'm land there, I mean, most likely we like to go to the Tawaf. So what's the time frame should I pick?
Those are the times we provided. So anything after 1600 hours all the way till midnight. Any time is sufficient to choose. Like we mentioned, Umrah permits, no one is checking. You should just have one just in case. 5-6 hours before, after is not a problem with Umrah permits.
Okay, so we say we most likely we land there early, but then we got to
take it out, inshallah, in the recommended times. You should be fine in the entire time frame, even if you decide to go as soon as we get to Makkah, inshallah. Even if we arrive to Makkah at 12 o'clock, you should be able to use those permits and go and do your Umrah on it.
And the same thing applied to Medina?
No, Medina is very time sensitive. You have to go at the exact time that is provided.
So in other words, like if you don't have those permit, you cannot enter. Is that what it means?
In Medina, yes. In Mecca, they really don't check. But we do want to make sure you're covered just in case they do start checking.
Okay. So that means limited people can enter and leave. Is that what it means? The permit means, right?
Pretty much. So in Medina, if you don't have a permit, there is a guarantee you won't be able to enter. They check every single permit multiple times before you go for the Roda. But in Mecca, no one is checking your permits. Very occasionally, they'll stop one or two people and check their permits, but other than that, they are not checking permits.
I see. Okay, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can we get strollers for the kids if they're 3-year-old, 5-year-old, or what do we do in that case?
Yes, you can. You can take the strollers inside. They may tell you to go upstairs in the wheelchair area. It really depends on how crowded Haram is. Things do change over there, but it is possible they may not allow the strollers inside the mataf.
Okay, we can rent the strollers at the Haram then.
They don't have strollers for rent over there, but if you're taking your own strollers, you sometimes they allow them, sometimes they don't. It is very, it really varies. So I can't really guarantee they're gonna allow it, but usually they do allow strollers in the mataf area.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Asma Asim, I see your hand up. If you want to unmute yourself.
I was asking, can we get the link for the app, for where we get the permit?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you repeat that, please?
Can we get the link for the app where we get
It's
the
all
permits?
it's all in the instructions for the nuzuk that we posted. It has a link for Apple and for Android. So if you follow the instructions, all the links are provided in there.
And the time frame that you told, it's also posted in the group?
Also posted in the group. It's very important every member of the family who has a phone, they join the group, because we do all of our posting, all of our reminders. Let's say there's a delay somewhere, we do like to make sure we inform everyone, and our way to communicate with the entire group is through those WhatsApp groups. So it's very important that everyone join those WhatsApp groups. And there's quite a bit of information in there. If anyone is still confused regarding that information, please reach out to us. But all information regarding Nuzuk has already been posted. And if you have not received your visa copies yet, please message our team so you can receive your visa copies. I see another question in the chat. So for tawaf, there are no more permits for tawaf. Not anymore. You can go ahead and do tawaf from the roof, from the second floor. But you will not be able to go in the mataf area right next to the Kaaba and do tawaf unless you're an ihram, or if you have a permit. For the women, the permit is sufficient, but for the men, if they're not in ihram, they will not let you enter in the mataf area. I see a few more hands up. Mehvish, if you would like to unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, is it so the permit, you explained about the tawaf, but what about the prayers? Do we also need to have permits?
We don't need permits for prayers. I think you may have traveled early on in the pandemic. That's when they were requiring. They do not require permits for prayer anymore. So only two activities require permits now, which is the Roda in Medina and for doing Umrah in Makkah. Those are the only two activities that require permits right now.
Okay. And how long does it take from the airport to get to the hotel? Because I think you guys are arriving a lot earlier than I will be arriving. We'll have a separate flight. So we'll probably be arriving later in the evening, so maybe around 5 or 6 p.m. How long will it take for us to get there?
Approximately from Jeddah airport to Makkah hotel, if you don't hit any traffic, it's approximately an hour and a half. But usually it takes an hour 45, 2 hours. There's always some traffic going into Makkah. So approximately, I would say an hour 45, 2 hours would be the approximate time.
Okay, so does that mean that I should get the permit for Umrah for the next day, or the same day would be possible?
Same day would be fine. I would say take a permit out. If you're arriving in the evening around 4 or 5 o'clock, I would say take something out for maybe 10 p.m. or something after midnight should be fine as well.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So inshallah, we're going to end the meeting over here. For any additional questions, please send us a message on the number so we can go ahead and help you out. And please, if you're still having any glitches with the app, make sure to uninstall it and reinstall it again. Or if you have any pending updates, please do the updates before trying to log in again. All right, Jazakallah khair everyone for joining. We hope to take care of you inshallah and see you at the airport soon. Assalamu alaikum.